Hey folks, welcome to Planning Traffic. Today's episode is coming from 171 Auburn Avenue. And today we're doing an episode of Planning Traffic in Atlanta. And let me just say the following. On August 24th, 2012, a mural was painted here at this location. And it signifies, but if I have one favorite politician, it's this gentleman I'm about ready to show you right now. So right here, painted 171 Auburn Avenue. Look at all this beauty. Look at this old church. Look at this image. This is a great image right here. Look at this. Like seriously, let's do this. John Lewis. John Lewis is an absolute legend for any humanitarian, anyone who has a heart and soul and conscience. John Lewis is absolutely the one. And I can go on, and I'm probably going to go on today. But absolute civil rights legend, and legend in Washington, D.C. And I figured, man, let me come out here because you know I'm going to cover street art. This falls into that category. And I am going to cover civil rights. But this, like I said, this went up August 24th, 2012. So I've been to some civil rights historical locations in my travels so far, especially on my, specifically on my YouTube channel. Non-YouTube channel have as well. And I'm going to list a few of these. Boy, some people are really hard at work. I'm going to move away from this dumpster. I kind of feel like they're throwing things in the dumpster, which makes sense because they're actually doing their job. So maybe I will move away a little bit. But yeah. So John Lewis, like one of the things that I really, when I first started understanding John Lewis, especially with moving into the area down here, is that when I was out in Selma on the Pettus Bridge, and I did it, and I'm gonna share all these links in my description, my video, description of this video. So when I was out there and researching, what happened, who was representing, basically representing black vote and the rights to that. And obviously, there's a lot of historical significance to that bridge and Bloody Sunday and everything. John Lewis was right there. He was front and center. And at that point in time, having been born in 1940, John Lewis, just the Selma to Montgomery marches alone were in 1965. So you're talking about a 25-year-old, like I said, representing the Student and Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. He was the one. He was front and center. And the gory details about Bloody Sunday, absolutely horrible. Oh my God. In this country, it'll be one of the, there's been a bunch of them, okay? But that's right there with some of the most horrible events in this country's history. So yeah, so just to talk about John Lewis real quick. He was in the Big Six March on Washington in 1963. He was with MLK Jr., A. Philip Randolph, Roy Wilkins, James Farmer, Whitney Young Jr., a freedom rider in 1961. So you're talking about 21 years old. Bus transportation was a problem for black people. Eating in diners was a problem for black people. You had all these different circumstances. And at the young age of 21 years, John Lewis would protest non-violently and will go to his grave, right, with that peaceful protest. And the reaction to his peaceful protest, and that's well documented in this country too, how everybody wants peaceful protests till they don't want it. But the fact of the matter is, between the Freedom Riders, between the Selma to Montgomery March, between the sit-ins in the diners that black people weren't allowed to eat, 40 arrests, beaten. I mean, I don't even know if he can document how many times that happened. But 40 arrests, terrible beatings, and John Lewis, like, at the end of the day, when you say people standing on business, John Lewis stood on business all the way to his grave. Yo, represented the Georgia 5th Congressional District from 1987 to his death in 2020. 17 terms in Congress. You know, well, I already did 40. Voting rights bill was renamed in his honor, and then, as you'd expect, or talk about well-deserved, the true essence of a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Like I said, as you'd expect, in 2011, the Presidential Medal of Freedom was given to him, highest civilian honor by the one and only President Barack Obama. So in a day and age of political, I can't even put words into this, man. You can't even put words into this, just this disgrace. John got the nickname of Conscience of Congress. Think about that. When you look in this room, I think there's other people that really mean well, but I think for the most part, and I think that's why people distance themselves so much from just even thinking or talking about politics and process, because of the disgusting behavior, and it is what it is. But that's not John Lewis. John Lewis, the conscience of the Congress. Love it. Love it. You know what? That's got the name of the video right there. John Lewis, youngest speaker at a 1963 March on Washington for voter rights for black people. He lived to be 80 years old. So if you think about 1963, so he's 23 years old. At 22, 23 years old. And you know, when you think about it, you look at his epic journey for the people, for everybody, right? Really. If you look at his journey, he had energy for days to accomplish what he accomplished at 1961. Probably long before that. But from a historical perspective, documentation. 21 years old, 23 years old, 25 years old, and then all the way was in Congress when he passed. That there's something that I can absolutely admire when it comes to politics. That right there. His journey, what he stood for, and even to this day, still working on that. And I don't know. I know. You know what? I honestly can only. I mean, I can show people better than I can tell them, from my perspective, and that's, obviously white male perspective. John Lewis, that's it. Today on Playing in Traffic, right here, Auburn. Yep, Jesse Hill Jr. Drive in Auburn. 171 Auburn. There it is, right there. Oh, by the way, the painter's name. So yeah, the painter, Sean Schwab, Loss Prevention. Sean Schwab. This image of John Lewis is him speaking, and it was the youngest speaker at the 1963 March on Washington. This is where this comes from. This is where this image comes from, right here. Oh, I just want to add as well, is here's a historical marker right here. the Bronner Brothers store. So interestingly, they actually painted the John Lewis mural right in the location of where the Bronner Brothers, you can read that right there. And even then check this out right here. On Martin Luther King Jr.'s 45th birthday, there's this march right here. There goes the store, there goes the sign alone. My goodness. Right here, right at this intersection. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Have a great day, pleasant tomorrow. Let's be good out there, man. Let's be good people. Let's think about John Lewis's journey. And it don't matter what race we are, right? To really appreciate and respect what this man did in his life, especially in these trying times, these political trying times. Yo, John Lewis is the one right there. All right, folks, have a great day, pleasant tomorrow, and I will see you next episode.